Hey, gun people. This Eden Prairie officer who accidentally shot the motorcycle blamed it on muscle memory. I don't know about that one. Um, Basically, the cop got in a pursuit. The guy supposedly ran. It was a pursuit. I don't know how long. He said he felt the effects of the adrenaline. And when he got out of the car, he was just going to hold the motorcyclist at gunpoint until another officer got there. At 100 miles an hour, you're kind of outrunning your siren. So a guy going 100 on a motorcycle in front of you with the wind, he's probably not going to hear you. The guy looks like as soon as he saw the lights, he pulled over pretty quick. So he was probably just driving 100, just being crazy and didn't know the cop was after him. But again, I'd like to see when he called the officer's report, when he called out the pursuit, when he called out the failure to yield, what was the timestamp, how far did they travel, was his siren on when he was talking on the radio. All those things are going to either back up the officer or call BS on the officer. So let's take a look at kind of what happened here. So the guy looks like he pulled over pretty rapidly, and he stopped pretty quickly. He's in short sleeves. The officer stopped pretty far back. I'll give you the one thing. For an accidental discharge, officers hit the target. Of course, the target wasn't shooting back, but it's a pretty good shot. He shoots him in the elbow.
Sergeant Lonnie Soplin gets out of his squad car with his gun drawn and then listens.
Get your hands right, real.
His gun goes off, hitting motorcyclist 22-year-old Matthew Hovland Canase. He then goes to help him.
Okay, stop. Put it in park. Okay. Here.
Motorcycles don't have park. Anyway, so the officer kind of messed up. Should the cop go to jail? I mean, there's going to be some people that are like, they're trigger happy, he meant to do it. Look, do I think this guy wanted to shoot him? No. It's too much trouble. It's too much paperwork. I think he got out. He probably panicked a little bit. His finger shouldn't have been on the trigger, and his finger was on the trigger, and it was an accidental discharge. I know everybody's going to be like, no such thing as accident. It has to be negligent. All right, it was a negligent discharge. Whatever. It was unintentional. The officer didn't mean to. And you know what? The guy got shot. Luckily, it wasn't major. I think he's suing him for his medical expenses. The cop saying he just went to training and it was muscle memory. I think that's kind of BS. Let's listen here, because when the deputy, you're going to notice when his sergeant takes his statement, it's very brief. I don't want to know anything more. And he cuts him off because he doesn't want it on tape. And basically, the sergeant's trying to cover his ass and not have him say anything any more incriminating than he's already said. Would they do that for a citizen? Unfortunately not. Should they? Yeah, they should. Police ought to be on the good guy's side, always. But they're not. So let's listen to this.
Okay, I got you. I got you. I'm bleeding. Please help me. Yep, I got you. 96, start an ambulance. Okay, put it down. It's down. It's down. Okay. Here you go.
The sergeant told investigators that firearms training earlier in the month contributed to the unintentional discharge because of the muscle memory of squeezing the trigger. Take another look at the data.
That's pretty weak because of muscle memory earlier. So now we can't ever go, if they say that's true, then cops and military can't ever shoot in practice because it might create muscle memory that'll cause us to pull the trigger. I don't want to get into it with all the idiots about muscle memory on slingshotting and using the slide release versus the slide stop versus the slingshot method, whatever. Man, I just constantly keep getting idiots coming here. What about the trigger? What about the magazine release? What about major? Look, you freaking idiots. I said in the video, I don't care what you guys do. I'm telling you what my training experience has showed me. You can take it or leave it. Quit coming here crying with your pink panties in a knot.
Dash cam video.
Get your hands right, real. Hands right.
Now, they're not saying he fired twice. If it was muscle memory and they always fire twice at the range, that might help him. I can't tell if he fired once and the second thud was the casing hitting the hood of the car. but it sounds like 2 shots. But they're not saying he fired once or twice. They're just saying he accidentally fired.
I can see him. Hands where I can see him. Okay.
Hovland Knase's attorney is pursuing a civil
Is he bald? Oh, shit. Here we go.
case to cover medical expenses. The sergeant went back to work after being on administrative leave during the investigation.
All right, we have brief rundown. What happened?
Pursuit.
Okay.
Came this way. I called it out. Do you stop? I got out, put my gun at him, told him to get his hands up. And my round went off.
Okay.
Just one.
Okay.
And I noticed he shot in the elbow.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's all I need to know.
So you notice he was like very quickly,
I'm bleeding.
that's fine, that's all I need to know. He wanted to shut him up. That was a clue to say, shut up, don't say anything more. The fact that the officer said the round went off, I mean, when Glocks first came out, that's all I heard from idiots shooting themselves. It's a Tupperware gun. It's plastic. It's unreliable. It's shooting by itself. No, you freaking idiots. You're pulling a freaking trigger. Okay? Guns don't go off unless somebody pulls the trigger. I mean, I can't think of any case ever where a gun was sitting on a table and suddenly just fired and went off and shot somebody. It's always in somebody's hands, and it's always got a finger on the trigger, and it's always loaded. Not too many people have been killed with unloaded guns. They may say it was unloaded, but most people aren't killed with unloaded guns. They're killed with loaded guns, and the gun's in someone's hands. So, you know, you can take it for what it's worth. I don't think this officer is necessarily a bad guy. Should be fired, lose his job, and do all this. Of course, the attorney's going to sue for medical expenses. He's going to sue the city. They're going to throw some money at him. They're going to pay the medical bills. It was the cop's fault. The guy didn't deserve to get shot. They did say he was convicted of a misdemeanor fleeing from the police. I'm not sure why he would take a deal like that. But the prosecution really wanted to prosecute him because it makes his case harder if he pleads or is found guilty. I don't know if I took a plea deal on that. And I can't remember if he said he pled to it or if he was convicted. But, you know, they always want to get the conviction because the conviction lessens the damage in the civil suit. Because then they can say he was breaking a law and he was convicted and he admitted. And, you know, so it always lessens the amount they have to pay out on the civil suit. But take it for what it's worth. We'll end that there.